parts of you. Your human and your being. Your form and your essence.
What's up, YouTube? Cole Lawson here. Peace. I hope you're having an amazing day. So today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take a drive and go in the wilderness. I don't know what it is, but today I've been feeling a lot more lonely than most days. But instead of running from it, or instead of trying to fill it with external things, I am taking the day to kind of dissect it, to sit with it, to understand it, to ask it questions. Why are you here? Why do you pop up even though I'm not unhappy? You know, why do I feel lonely at times? Why do we suffer from loneliness so much? So a lot of things have been arising for me as I've been asking myself that question over and over all morning. So I decided I'm going to go into the wilderness because nature always makes me feel so much smaller, but so much bigger in a more impactful way. So I am going to go find some really cool nature stuff to be around and just sit and think about it. So I'll see you guys in a bit.
Peace, homies. Cole Lawson here. I know today's setting is a bit different, and it's different for a reason. So I'm currently sitting in the middle of this desert area I found here in Southern California. I'm surrounded by some beautiful, amazing rocks and just trees and just nature. Nature always has a way of bringing solace to me and making me feel a lot smaller, but in a such bigger way. It's crazy. And the reason why I like the desert over the beach in certain times is sometimes it's really nice to hear how quiet everything can be, and it really brings a lot of clarity. And so today's video, I kind of just wanted to talk to you guys about loneliness. And I'm sorry if I get emotional because I'm already my eyes are already swelling up, y'all, because this is a very heavy topic for me, and it's very prominent, I think, in our entire society right now, is loneliness. Everyone feels lonely in a day and age to where we've created so many tools that give off the illusion of connection. Why do we all feel so lonely? Today I woke up and it was an overwhelming feeling of loneliness. It was something that was just weighing on me. It just felt like it was just heavy on my shoulders, and immediately I started to just cry because I'm not unhappy. I'm very happy. I have a lot of great friends. I'm doing the work that I love. I have everything that I need. So why do I still feel lonely? It's not all the time. I mean, sometimes loneliness comes in waves and it comes and it goes. But I did something different today. I've been in therapy for a lot of my life. I'm not in therapy anymore. I found other modalities that help me. But in therapy, when I would talk about my loneliness, they would always tell me to do things like, well, make more friends or get a pet. Or today I realized that, or maybe what I'm coming to an understanding of, is that loneliness, I think, stems from a longing for more depth, a longing for an actual, real, a deeper connection to other things, to the essence of life, so to speak. Not just to people, not just to animals, not just to plants, not just to random things. Craving for a deeper understanding, a deeper connection, a deeper bond, a deeper chord, a deeper vibrational match with the essence of life, of what it means to be here, what it means to be you, what it means to be human. And I think what happens is, at least for me, sometimes I get into these waves where I get out of balance between my human and my being. And when I say that, I mean my human being, my 3D, my form, who I am here in this life, being disconnected from my being, which is my essence, my 5D body, my energetic body, my soul. And I think when we get disconnected from that, it seems like we don't have any connection outside of us. And that's because we lack the foundation of the connection inside of us, because everything and everyone in your life is just a mirror projection of what's going on in your energetic field. So if you feel disconnected from the people around you, then the underlying thing is you're disconnected with yourself. Because it's impossible for you to be connected with your essence and not be connected with the essence of all of life. Because all of life is you and you are all of life. I think sometimes we get so caught up in this human world that it's hard to balance the two. And we lose it somewhere in between. And that's kind of what I felt like this morning. So sometimes loneliness isn't depression. Sometimes loneliness isn't because you don't have friends. Sometimes it is, don't get me wrong. But sometimes it's more so just because you're disconnected with yourself. Because we have so many things, so many tools these days, like social media and all these things where you would think that it created a way for us to be deeper connected, but it didn't. That to say, I remember 15 years ago, technology wasn't where it is today, you know? We actually went and had to see our friends. We hung outside. We knew our neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Keeping up with the Joneses was more so just keeping up with the people you seen right next to you. And now, keeping up with the Joneses is trying to keep up with everybody in the whole fucking world, because you can see it all on the internet. And it's stressful. But on the other hand, we got social media and I can connect with someone in fucking Beijing in the snap of a finger. But is that really connecting? Is what I had to ask myself, and I don't think it is. It was a bullshit attempt, honestly. Because all the things that we search for on social media are the things that we had in real life. And 10, 15 years ago, yeah, maybe the economy wasn't as great because we weren't able to make money on the internet like we can today. But mentally, physically, as humans, as beings, we were better. Why is that? It's because that's what we need at our core. At our core, we need connection. It's built into our DNA, you know, because when you really think about it, when we go way back into like indigenous times and, you know, when people first got here, connection and tribe and community were important. They were super important because everyone needed everybody to, you know, feed the kids, or you had the hunters and gatherers, or you had the people that were, you know, teaching, or whatever the case may be. Everybody had a role and everyone was connected. Everyone held on to each other to make sure everyone survived. And it was hurtful. It was like painstakingly hurtful if you got ostracized from the group. And I think that's what it is now, is like a lot of us feel ostracized or, you know, isolated. And it hurts. I'm telling you guys, it hurts. Loneliness can cause someone to die 50% faster than the person that's not lonely. And we are the loneliest we've ever been right now when we have all these things to try and create some type of connection, to try and communicate and be communicated with. But I think what we forget is why it's not working through these phone screens and why it's becoming so detrimental that we're just on these phones so much, is that 80% of communication is done through body language, because we're all vibration and energy into condensed matter and, you know, all that stuff. But if 80% of communication is done through body language, you can't feel a person's vibration, you can't feel a person's energy through a phone screen. And, you know, it's crazy because now you think we've been more connected because I can pick up my phone and FaceTime anybody and see them real time, right? But you still can't feel them. You see what I'm saying? Have you ever been around your friend and felt like, yeah, they can tell you nothing's wrong, but you can feel it? Like you can be like, nah, fam, you not good. What's going on? Really talk to me. Let me know, right? But now we've settled for status updates as a means of checking on a person's well-being, you know? And why I say things have changed and gotten worse is because although we've made technological advances, when we really sit back and think about it, we've created an alternate virtual universe for something that we can have in real life in real time. Think about it. You get on Instagram or on Twitter and you want a tribe, a community. You gather a community of people that like the same things that you like. Y'all talk and kiki back and forth, right? And then you want status. So we have these opportunities to give status updates via photos showing your status, via verbal status updates, via like Twitter or Facebook or whatever the case may be. You're showing status. Or the next thing is we want to always be looking like we're progressing. We want to be progressing, yes, but because we've created this virtual world, now we need to look like we're progressing. We got online to do the things that our very being needs in real time, and we thought it was supplemental, but instead it's created more loneliness inside of us because we're actually disconnected. Because anytime we're alone now, we reach for connection elsewhere. When's the last time you've been alone and not put on music, not been on social media, not watched TV, not read a book or listened to a book or a podcast or whatever? When's the last time you've really just been alone with yourself? And then we wonder why we get so much anxiety just to be humans in reality, in our real world, because we never allow ourselves time to connect with us. And that's where that loneliness stems from. How can we create deep connections with other people if we lack the foundation and the willingness to create a deep connection with ourselves? So today, instead of succumbing to my loneliness and, doing external things, because we always think external things is what's going to fix the problem. You're lonely? Go get a dog. You're lonely? Go hit up your friends and go party every weekend and try and forget about the fact that you're lonely. Go hang out and maybe you start a new family or have kids because you think that's going to take away the loneliness. And if you have a kid, they'll love you forever, right? Or you get a pet because people say, pets are good companions and that'll take away the loneliness too. Or maybe you start a new job project and immerse yourself in work so you're not lonely anymore. You have all this work to do. Or maybe you just decide you're gonna fucking bust down Tatiana and have one night stands every night because you're really seeking connection. So you're just having all these little interferences, right? Or you're seeking new relationships, constantly going from relationship to relationship or person to person, or situationship to situationship, just to try and escape the suffering that comes with loneliness. Because you can't escape loneliness. I definitely feel like loneliness is something that comes and goes in waves, but I think loneliness is like anything else. Like when you need to eat, your body triggers you through giving you a hungry sensation. So you need to eat. And I think loneliness is also another trigger for us to realize when we need to connect with our essence. We need to connect with our being. And I think that ability to connect is what will intensify your ability to be present in your human life. It's what will intensify your ability to cut through that mental chatter that's creating the struggle and the resistance to loneliness. Because I feel like loneliness is just another door into another piece of you. Another piece, another depth, another entryway to who you are. And I feel like instead of running away from and trying to fill that with other things, when we instead walk through that door of loneliness, we meet ourselves there. And I feel like that's scary for some people. And I know it was scary for me because today when I decided I wasn't going to fill it with external things, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to walk through this fucking door of loneliness, I didn't know who I was going to meet. I didn't know if I was going to like the person that I met. I didn't know if I was going to like me. And it turns out I'm the motherfucking shit, y'all. Okay? But sometimes it's not always that way. Sometimes I look in the mirror and it's not a person that I like. And I realize I need to readjust. But what I realized today is that walking through that door of loneliness did something different for me. It created a version of me. Now that I can step back into the world, it created a version of me that's more whole, that's not seeking. Because when you're seeking, even when you go to hang out with your friends, or you go to talk to your friends, or you get a pet, or you get in a new relationship, You have to realize how detrimental that is, because you're not doing it from a place of unconditional love. You're not doing it from a place of you really want this person or this thing or this animal or this anything. You're doing it from a place of, I feel bad, I need to fix me, I need to feel me, so I'm going to use this, and this to my benefit. And I'm not saying the genuine love and connection can't be real, but it won't be as deep as what you're looking for. It won't fix the problem. It won't fix the root. And the root of it is, we need to connect back with our beings, with our essence, with the world, with our own worlds. Question that I asked myself this morning was, do I feel loneliness because I'm looking for something to complete me? Or do I feel loneliness because I want to share my happiness with someone? Or do I feel like I want to share my happiness with someone because it'll take away my loneliness and make me feel more complete? And I think sometimes it's all three. I said sometimes it gets really hard because we're trying to balance the two, balance the human 3D form of us and the being, the 5D essence of us. And it gets hard, because we sometimes, living in this world, we think about what we need, what we want, and we forget that our being, our essence, doesn't need or want anything. And that's not to say that connections aren't great and they aren't meaningful. That is to say that everyone that you connect with is only a reflection of your connection with yourself, with your essence, with your energy. Loneliness is very painful, you guys. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not, but it's not really the loneliness that's painful. Is the perception of the depth of our connections. I think that's painful. It's our connection to loneliness that's painful. And that's what I meant by using escapism versus walking through that door and meeting yourself on the other side to reconnect. I think when you build a relationship with your loneliness, you become less lonely. But when you escape it, it's like you're asking for it to stay in your house. It's like you're telling it, you sit here on the couch, and I'm going to go outside and hang out with my friends, or go find me a boo, or get a pet, or do the things, go have sex with this person because they mad cute, mouth water and all the drip. You feel me? It's like you're telling your loneliness to sit on the couch while you go out and do that, and not remembering, like, when you come back home, motherfucker's still going to be sitting there. You can't escape it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be willing to walk with all the things that scare you most. And I think being alone is one of those things that scare a lot of us most. Ending up alone, or, just feeling alone. Because I know there's these instances where you'll be out with people, or I've had instances where I've been out with people and I still felt lonely, surrounded by a bunch of people. And even now, I have amazing friends, people that I can call on anytime I need to. I have amazing, things going on in my life. And so when we think about loneliness, it has nothing to do with all the external things that are around you. It has to do with your depth, your connection, your understanding and overstanding of the connection you have to the things around you, which is based upon your connection to yourself. You're never alone because you're always with you. And then you're always alone, even when you're with other people, because no one else is inside of you but you. So I think the end to loneliness is going to be the end of shallow connections. And the end of shallow connections starts with the end of the shallow connection to yourself. Everyone wants to look like they're doing good. Everybody wants to look like they're not struggling. Everybody wants to look like they're living their best life. So we get into these notions where we don't even ask the people closest to us how they're doing anymore. We don't even get a text back or a call back or anything. We just wait on status updates or update our statuses. And, I think in order to end loneliness, or in order to end that lonely feeling inside yourself, you first got to stop running. You got to stop using people. That's what it is, really. Like, you're using people and things, and you think you're being a good person, and you think you're, just getting out into the world when you're not. Sometimes you need to face yourself, because you're the longest relationship you're going to be in ever. And I think we forget that. We crave relationships with other people so much, but your relationships with other people are only a reflection of the depth of your relationship with yourself. You feel me? Like, people can only meet you as deep as they met themselves, and vice versa. You can only meet people as deep as you met yourself. So I feel like this loneliness feeling is when you don't have depth to you anymore. When you don't feel depth to your life, you start to feel lonely. Because you wake up and the first thing you do is you get on social media and you think you're connecting with other people, but really all you're doing is disconnecting from actual reality. You're living in a virtual world and expecting to have real feelings, real results, real emotions, real connections. How can you have a real connection in a virtual community? You see what I'm saying? So many people don't know how to be alone. It's like the time we get alone, we don't even spend it in silence. You got people that game. And I'm not saying any of these things are bad, they're great, but you gotta take a break. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't escape forever. It's like gaming and this whole virtual community that we've built has been a way for us to create fictitious lives. And I think that's why it feels lonely, because we're creating these fake lives, so to speak. We're just piecing together little bits and pieces of our own lives, even to the points where now people map their life based on what they can post on social media or what they want to post on social media. Rather than documenting their actual life, they're creating a life to document. They're creating a life to show. And I think that your power will come back and you'll stop feeling lonely even when you're in relationships or have around groups of friends. If you work on the depth of your relationship to yourself, that means how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself, what you allow into your vibrational space, into your aura. It can be really hard when you're facing loneliness, especially in a time where you're waking up consciously or you're becoming a more self-actualized person. It can start to feel really lonely because you can start to feel like people don't understand you, or that you don't understand life anymore. But I think the way to understand is to go seeking that truth inside of yourself, and to stop putting so much weight in the external world, because this external world is just a projection of your internal world. You see what you want to see all the time. There's two parts of you. You're human and you're being. Your form and your essence. They both live in the same house. So if you feel lonely in your own house, that means you're not communicating with the other half of you. If you feel incomplete, it's because you're missing the other half of you, not the other half of somebody else. If you feel incomplete, it's because your human is missing your being. Your form is missing your essence. Your body is missing your vibration. A deeper vibration, a more meaningful vibration. So this is to say, you guys, I will probably do a couple more videos as far as like loneliness and the effects of social media on loneliness and things like that. I don't really know where I'm going to move forward with this topic, but I definitely know it's something that needs to be talked about a lot, because especially in my work, I talk about self-actualization a lot. I talk about personal responsibility, but the difference is where this society has made it all about me, I don't need nobody, I don't need nobody. I teach and I practice self-actualization and personal responsibility and connection to self as a foundation to connect with the rest of the world. But that foundation is the start, because that's how everything starts to change. If you change yourself, you change your world. Change how you view you, you change how you view everything. You change the depth of your connection with yourself, you change how deep you can connect with someone else. Y'all, this life should be fucked up sometimes. It'd be mad backwards, because like, And these are just my reflections, my downloads, so take it as you will. It's something to think about. It's like it's fucked up because as we realize that spiritual beings first, having a human experience, I feel like we also have to realize the balance that requires of us. Because our human bodies, our physical form, need to survive. It's ingrained in us. Survival is ingrained in us to the point to where it's very hard to thrive because our human form needs to survive. And that's why we need connections. That's why connection is important. It's so pertinent to our resilience and to our ability to move forward and to progress. However, when you become more enlightened in your life, you start to realize that your being, your essence, don't need a goddamn motherfucking thing. And it's hard to learn to balance the two. Because to make it here in this world, we do need connection. So we shouldn't put ourselves into isolation and to stray away. I think the problem comes in is where we think, or we've been conditioned to think, that we are incomplete without connections. And what I'm starting to realize is the more that I connect with my being and my essence, and then I come back to my human form, my 3D, I'm starting to realize that I can have that connection to my being and my essence, and then I see and I know and I feel that I'm complete. And when I see and I know and I feel that, it makes it easier, a little bit easier to be in this human form. Because although I need connections and I am able to have great ones because of my understanding of my own essence, I'm also realizing that is only because I understand my own essence. That is the only way I'm able to overstand other people. Feel like in your human form, you start to feel like you do need people. Like you do need connections. Which in a sense, you kind of do. We kind of do for our survival, for our push forward. But I think the biggest thing is realizing that when you're more connected with your being and your essence, you know that you are already complete, that you have everything, that you are everything, that you don't need anything else, you don't need for anyone else. But you don't need for the thing that I've downloaded just now as I'm walking is the reason why you don't need for anything and you know you're complete when you're connected to your essence is because you realize that your connection to your essence is a connection to everyone else's essence, because we are all from that same source, space, source energy. So when you're connected to your being, you're also connected to the being of everyone. So the deeper you connect with your being, the deeper you are already connecting with everyone's being. So it's not to say like, I don't need anyone, fuck everybody, I could do this shit by myself, I'm alone, I was born alone, blah, blah, blah. But it is to say that we are all fingers on the same hand. Your being is the hand. Your form is the finger. Does that make sense? I think mind is shook. So that's why when you're connected to your being, you start to feel like you don't need anyone. And it's because you don't. You are everyone and everyone is you. At that point, that is the connection. You are complete. And in your completeness is also everyone else. So if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Somebody else needs to see this. Somebody else needs to know that they're not alone in this loneliness thing, you know? But unfortunately, and fortunately, this is something that we have to deal with in our lonesome. You cannot expect a community of people to fix your loneliness. Everyone's dealing with their own problems. So they can't fix your problems too. You have to fix your problems. But if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.